Nice to see you again. I am filming this basic yoga video on Thanksgiving Day. And I'm excited about that because this YouTube video and my library of videos has been my way of giving back to you and to the world. So we all need to be doing yoga, right? So if you enjoyed the video, share it with a friend. And you can even get together with a friend and do the video together, maybe putting your mats social distanced in a room together and practicing together. This is a very, very basic class, excellent for beginners or those that want something very slow. So you will see in the corner of my screen here a little picture of me at any time during the video. If you hover your mouse or so forth over top of that picture, then you will be able to see the subscribe button to subscribe to all my videos. So just hover over that little picture and you can subscribe, and that means that you will get notification if I have published a new video. Anything from beginner classes to intermediate, I call it level 2, to advanced. So enjoy. Today I'd like to start in a pose called child pose. Some of you know this in Sanskrit as balasana pose. So we need to shift our bodies around so that we put our toes at the back of the mat. And see if you can place your toes flat if possible. If not, you certainly can curl them if you need to. Over time they will go flat. And then we'll put the arms out front and sink the hips as close to the heels as we can. You might even be able to put the hips on the heels. You may be up a little bit higher in the pose with the hips further from the heels. If so, drop your elbows down and your forearms down. So making the shape of child pose to the extent that your body is available for today. Let the gaze be down to the earth, the forehead towards the earth. Certainly you can place your forehead there if you wish. And the arms out in front of you, outstretched with elbows lifted or the elbows down. Relax and take some breaths now. Let your inhales fill the back of your body. So as you breathe here, you're breathing into the back of your upper body, feeling the inhale expanding the back of your ribs, relaxing the lower back. So inhaling, exhaling. The back of our ribs house our back of our lungs, the back of our vital organs of the heart, protects those organs for us. So it's important to send the breath back there with some nice inhales and then exhale, only breathing through your nose. Breathing through the nose slows down the breathing. Very important. Good. Now slowly see if you can bring your hands over to the left. You might bring them off the mat, that's okay. Just a little stretch through the right side of your body there as your arms shift a little bit over like that. Still breathing nice and steadily in and out of the nose. Inhaling into your back. Exhaling, letting go. Let's come back around center and over to the right. So we're doing the same thing on this side, letting the left side of the body get a little bit more opening there. One more breath. And then coming back to center. Excellent. On your next inhale, start to form a tabletop posture with your hips over your knees. Your shoulders are over top of your wrists. Take a moment to situate that. If you look at your thighs, you're going to try, if you can, to disappear your feet behind the thighs. So as you look at your hands, they should look like starfish on your mat, little spaces between all the fingers. See if you can sustain this. If not, you are welcome to shift back to child pose at any time. Relax the neck and see if you can extend your left arm out long. So the palm of that hand faces inward. Then release that. And now try the right arm. So we're practicing balance. Balancing through the spine, working through our core, working the shoulders here. Exhale that down. Good. Now let's try the left leg out long. So the toes will face down. The leg will be no higher than the hip. If it's too much, you can put the toe on the ground there until you can build up to the hold. Stay nice and strong and steady here. And then exhale that knee down. Now let's try the right side. Extend, breathe. Lengthen from your right heel all the way to the crown of the head, as if someone just drew a long line on your body. Exhale that down, very nice. Now let's try two of these together. Let's try our left arm and right leg together. Inhale nice and long, then exhale, bring it back. Good. Let's try the other side. Left leg, right arm. Extend. Exhale it back. Let's keep going. Inhale, always the opposite arm, opposite leg, and the exhale returns it back. Nice, steady breaths in the body as we do this. If it's becoming too much, simply omit one of the appendages. Maybe we're just doing the legs today. Or maybe we're just doing the arms today. You can build up to this whole sequence. We'll do one more on each side. Strong and steady. Exhale back, beautiful job. And then let's come back to our child pose and take a little rest. So on this day of Thanksgiving that I'm filming this, we're reminding ourselves of the gratitude, right? These bodies that we have do so much work for us. We expect a lot of the body. We really do. So on this day, deep gratitude for these bodies that are really just a housing for our souls, right? So we take care of our bodies so that our souls can shine, right? Let's come back to tabletop again. Now this time we'll do a little flow for our spine called cow-cat flow. On your inhale, shift your gaze up and forward. Let the belly be a little soft as we take a small arch in the back. Right? And then exhale to a cat back. So the low part of your back is drawing down. The belly center draws up, almost as if it's coming up and through the body. And the head relaxes down a little bit here. The gaze to the mat. Now let's flow this. Inhale, find the cow. Exhale to the cat. We'll keep going. Inhale to the cow. And exhale to the cat. So think of this as just your spine moving. Nothing else is moving. So the legs are not moving. The arms are not moving. The shoulders are nice and steady. Just the body's moving, engaging the core muscles to move the spine. Really, our whole body moves from our spine. So this is very freeing, very opening. Gratitude for our spines, right? Good. And exhale to cat. Nice. And just come back to neutral there. Exhaling back to child pose. Take a little break. Relax. You don't have to do any more. If that was enough for today, that's fine. You can build up to this whole video. Relax, relax. Deep gratitude for ourselves, our bodies. So going to add on a little bit to what we're doing here. Let's see if we can come back to table just one more time and extend the right leg out long behind us. We did this before. This time we'll bring the knee into the nose. So now it's a little more effort, right? It almost feels like you're back in a cat back here. Let's do that again. The leg out long and the knee to the nose. One more time. Leg out long and the knee to the nose. Now pause there. Any way that you are able, bring your foot through your hands. Maybe stepping it forward until you find yourself in a kneeling lunge. Big movement, right? It's okay to use your hand to push the foot or situate it, pick it up and place it there, right? All right. Now, when you're here, if you feel that your left leg would like to shift back a little bit, just shift it back a little bit until you feel a stretch through that left hip. So our right shin is very vertical. The entire shin perpendicular to the floor. Now, if you're able, the supporting hand here can be a what we call a fingertip support or flat hand. It just depends on your reach and your shoulder. So for this movement, I'm going to use a flat hand for more support. Taking the right hand to the hip, roll that right shoulder back and shift your gaze back behind you. Now, if in your peripheral vision, can you see that front leg? Make sure your shin is still vertical. Good. Exhale that down. Very nice job. Stay here. Another breath or two with the gaze forward. Those that think they can do a little bit more, come up to fingertip touch and maybe float the hands to your front thigh, where you're up a little higher, a little more balance here. Strong core, lifting the heart center up towards sky. Whatever you're doing, let's exhale and release. We'll come back to our table. You might have to walk your left knee back up under your hip. Wrists underneath the shoulders and just sway your hips side to side. Let all that go. Just let it go. If it feels good, just add the head gaze in the opposite direction just to move yourself a little bit. Sway a little bit. Getting some mobility through the hips, right? And then back to center, square up your table. Let's take that left leg out long now. Same thing, stay strong. Knee to the nose. It might not reach the nose, that's okay. And then out long again, knee to the nose. I should say knee towards the nose, right? Extend it out again, and now this time, knee to the nose. Bring the foot between the hands any way that you can. So if you look down at your foot, you should see two hands and a foot in the same vertical line there, or I'm sorry, same horizontal line there. So you're back in your kneeling lunge, the gaze forward, relax your shoulders. Good, now let's try our twist. The right hand will ground that left hand to the hip, shifting the gaze left, just rolling that shoulder back. So you might have a little bit more of a diagonal gaze there. We're basically lifting up the side of the chest, stretching more through the pectoral muscles there to give, again, our organs a little more room, our lungs, our heart. This is why yoga is so good for us. Gratitude. Good, exhale down. Nice. Now you can stay here, or if you want to try that balance, bring both hands to the thigh. Lightly, right? Keeping the same shape of the legs. Again, relaxing the shoulders. You might be lifting the heart up a little bit. If you've done a lot of yoga and you're doing this video, we're moving super slowly. So this is actually very good for advanced yogis as well, to come back to these simple movements just to correct or adjust alignment, to keep that alignment in check. One more breath, and exhale, release down. Beautiful. Let's come back to table one last time. Last table. And again, sway the hips. Just let everything go. Bring the head around if you like that movement. Taking your time. Good. You may wish to come to child pose for just a moment. Take a little break. So we're going to move to our first downward facing dog, lifting the hips up, away from the heels. Now we'll tuck our toes. See if we can lift the knees up, away from the mat. So when you get here, your body made a shape of an upside down V shape. So let your feet move around a little bit. It may feel a little uncomfortable if you're not used to this shape of your body. Keep those nice starfish hands. Shoulders are really stretching here. We're moving the legs around a little bit. You can double bend the knees if that feels better, and lift the hips up a little bit. That may feel better for you. Any way you'd like to shift these legs around so that you can feel a little more comfortable in the pose. At some point, hold still for 3 breaths if you are able, knowing that you can always come back to child pose. Just through the nose, one more time. Good. On your next breath, any way that you can, start to walk your feet up towards your hands. Walk, walk, walk. After a while, you'll be on fingers, or maybe your hands are just floating. At the front of the mat is where you are now. Knees are bent, chest coming towards the thighs for forward fold. So we want to keep, especially if you're new at yoga, keep a little bend in your knees at first doing this. Just until your legs start to get used to the stretching and the lengthening. One more breath. Good. Now slowly bend the knees a little bit more, engage your core muscles. So draw your belly in and inhale as if you're picking something up from the ground. Bring your whole body up. Good. Arms extended. Now if you're able to bring them overhead, bring them overhead. Palms facing. Nice tall body. And then we'll bring the arms around and to the heart center. Right? So gratitude today. Gratitude for our yoga practice. Gratitude for our bodies. And gratitude simply to be practicing. All right, now let's do a little bit of sun salutations to move a little bit. We'll do this slowly. Stand tall in this mountain pose. This is our Tadasana, our mountain. The tall posture, rooted to the ground, yet the body rises up to tallness. Inhale the arms up. Exhale, soften the knees like a bird. Swan dive down to your forward fold again. Now, let's bring ourselves halfway up to flatten the back. So hands will slide to the shins. Some of you, maybe hands will be on the thighs. The gaze forward but long over your mat. Sitting bones pushing back. Then soften the knees, exhale back down to your fold. Good, engage your core again and inhale, reverse the swan dive, bring yourself back up again to that tall extended mountain. If it feels good, lift your heart up a little bit, take a little back bending motion here, and then bring the arms around back to the heart center. Let's do a couple more, a little faster. Inhale up. Exhale, swan dive to your forward fold. Lift halfway up to flatten the back. Exhale, back down to your fold. Inhale and rise with gratitude. Right? Little back bend. Arms around, back to the heart center. Same thing again. Inhale. Exhale, swan dive to fold. Lifting halfway up, and exhale, release down. Good, inhale and rise. Little lift of the heart again. And the arms come around, back to heart center. Gentle smile on your face. Every day should be Thanksgiving, right? Giving thanks. All right, let's step out on our mats wide. So we'll shift our position here. And we'll take the toes to a diagonal shape. So come as wide as you feel comfortable doing, right? Doesn't have to be super wide. I'm going to do a little goddess squat. This is very good for the legs, very good for the back. So those of you that know yoga, this is not a traditional goddess squat as I'm changing the arms. So the knees bend just a little bit as if you're going to sit in a big chair. Today we'll bring the arms out in front with the palms down. Right? Almost like a little humbling motion there. Right? And then come back up, hands to heart. Let's do some flow. Exhale, come down. Inhale, come up. Exhale, down. So we're working through the legs now. The outer part of the thigh draws the legs open towards the knee, towards the pinky toe of the foot. And the inner thigh muscles have a lot of work to do because they're stabilizing the pelvis, stabilizing the hips. So our pelvic girdle that attaches our spine to our lower body is neutral. It's not tipped forward, it's not tipped back. Let's do 2 more. If your legs are burning a little bit, that's it. You can always take a break, that's okay. I know. We can build up to this. All right. Let's pause here with hands to heart. Nice job. Straightening out the feet so that your toes are facing forward. Now let's turn one of our feet. It really doesn't matter which one. We'll turn one of our feet here and bend into that front leg for warrior 2 with the arms coming out straight, one in front, one behind, palms down. Again, using that outer thigh muscle here in that front leg to keep that hip open so that the knee does not collapse inward. And then see if you can look over your front fingers without reaching to the front wall. So there's no reaching there. Taking another breath, hang on. Good, now slowly drop this back arm down to your leg and we'll lift the front arm, turning the palm up to reverse the warrior. Breathing. And feeling a nice opening in the ribs. Once again, this is why yoga is so good for our lungs. All of the breathing, so wonderful for us. Back to warrior 2, nice job. Now hang on, let's turn the palms forward to face me and straighten out this front leg. This time we will reach for the front wall, taking that arm forward over the leg. When you can't move anymore, your body stops at a certain point. Then just drop that arm from the front. You can put it on your shin or in front of the shin. And then the opposite arm comes in the air, wrist over the shoulder. So the gaze over time will be up. It's very scary to do that when you're new at yoga. So remember, we don't have to do all of this today. Maybe you're just looking forward. Right? Taking another breath, hang on. Good. Now, as if someone's lifting you up from your fingers. Inhale, lift up, come back to warrior 2. Good, and hands to the heart center, straightening out that leg and bringing it back. See if you can stay wide. If not, just shift around a little bit, take a break. We are going to try the other side for the warriors. All right. So when you're ready, root your feet again, turn the other foot to the opposite wall, again with the arms out, bending into that leg for warrior 2. The gaze forward over the fingers without reaching, breathing. Noticing the rooting of the body through the feet, right? Everything rises up from there. This pose gives us some self-confidence for sure. One more breath. Now hang on to that solid leg position. Drop your back arm. Inhale your front arm up to reverse the warrior. Again, breathing through this space that we've created in the front of our body through the ribs. Intercostal muscles stretch. Back to warrior 2. Nice effort. Hang on. Let's turn the palms forward and straighten the front leg. Now slowly we'll slide We'll slide, slide until we can't slide anymore forward, right? The body stops at a certain point. Then drop that arm to the leg. The arm behind you comes up just as far as you can, right? You might not be able to get that wrist over the shoulder today. That's okay. Maybe over time, right? Maybe over time the gaze shifts upward. Just taking another breath here, as if someone were lifting you up from your fingers. Inhale up, back to warrior two with the bent front leg. And the hands come back to the heart, straightening out that leg and bringing that back. Good. Now let's bring the hands to the hips, taking a little stretch. Inhale, lift the heart up a little bit to stretch the chest. And then exhale, come forward. Tighten up the belly, right? Tighten up the back muscles, so stay strong in your core muscles. Stay here, or a couple of you watching this video might want to bring your hands down. So if you have a lot of room in your body, you can certainly drop the hands down and bring the torso down a little further. Over time, that might work for you. Wherever you are, take a couple of breaths. Good. Now on your next inhale, bring your hands back to your hips, come back to your flat back, and slowly use your muscles to bring your body back up. We'll toe heel these feet back together. When you come back to the center, find your mountain pose. Nice and tall and strong. So in mountain pose, all of our joints line up. Shoulders over hips, hips over knees, knees over ankles. Take a few breaths. Part of yoga is to work on our balancing. So we're going to do that today. Let's bring the hands to heart. We will shift the weight to the left foot and pick up the right heel as if you're unweighting that foot. Today we'll be practicing eagle pose. So when you're ready to try, see if you can cross that right foot over the left. This may take a little time, a little work. This might be all you're doing here in this shape today. Now, those that think they can do a little more, start to squeeze the inner thighs together. Squeeze the elbows a little closer to the body as if you're pulling everything center. And then, one or two of you might be able to lift that right foot up and just kind of slide it or tuck it next to the leg for your eagle shape. We're still squeezing everything center. As if you're trying to hold something between your legs. You don't want to drop it. Like some kind of little tiny object that you're squeezing. You're squeezing the hands together too. 2 more breaths in and out of the nose. Good. Now exhale and just slowly unwind. Unwind that whole pose. Move around a little bit. You may want to twist out a little bit and just let it go. Just let it go. Release any tension in your body that you may have had there. So the yoga postures are all about control and discipline of the body, and that's why this practice is so challenging. Let's try the other side, but let's recenter. So inhale the arms up. Let's exhale the hands back down to the heart, reminding yourself that this is all about the gratitude for our bodies. All right, so now the right foot grounds, the left heel lifts. And when you're ready, cross it over. Start to squeeze the legs together. Maybe the elbows are tucking in. And then, of course, the foot could float up a little bit, squeezing against the other calf or not, right? Inner thigh squeezing as if you're holding something. You may feel that the supporting leg, knee bend slightly. That's natural in this pose. These different poses are foundations for other options in the poses that we learn as we advance our practice. So it's important to get the foundation much as you can. We're still squeezing for another breath, right? Good, now exhale and let all that go. Again, twisting. Twisting and just let it go. Let the arms feel really loose. Good. So all we're going to do is come back to mountain, nice and tall. Inhale the arms up. Exhale the hands to heart in gratitude. Turn your body just a quarter turn to the front of your mat and take a big step forward so that you're at the front of your mat. Let's drop the arms, inhale up and exhale, swan dive to our forward fold. We were here before. This time we're just going to hang heavy for a moment. Just relax. You might feel your body opening a little more here. So there's an option for your hands to grab your opposite elbows. If you're feeling like that may work for you, tuck your head just inside those forearms and you could sway a little bit. This is a little more challenging, right? So it may or may not be working today, but maybe over time, it's a little swaying. And then slowly come to stillness. Release the fingers to the ground. Good. One by one, let's drop the knees back for tabletop. We remember this posture, right? We were in this posture a lot. But this time, in this tabletop posture, can we walk our hands forward, far, far forward, little more pressure on the heel of the hand, and just bow as if your head and heart are coming through the arms for a little puppy pose, our little puppy. It feels like you're doing half of a downward facing dog here, little puppy. On your next breath, just drop your forearms down and see if you can inch your legs back so that you end up on your belly in our Sphinx pose. Now, if supporting yourself this way, if you're too high in the torso so that your back is not feeling happy here, then bring yourself down a little bit for a little mini Sphinx pose. So whichever one you're doing, let's stay for 3 breaths. Feeling a big back extension now here. Good, and then on your exhale, release your torso down. If you were high in that pose, let's slide our hands all the way back to the chest horizontal. So it may feel as if your arms are really far back, the hands, and they are, right? Keep the legs long, ground your belly, and inhale, lift the heart up, using your back muscles if you can, to cobra pose. Then exhale it right down, and we'll do 2 more. Inhale, cobra pose. Exhale, back down. 1 more. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, back down. Beautiful job. Now very slowly, we're going to go ahead and roll onto our backs. An easy way to do this is just to extend one of your arms and then let that help you roll to your side and slowly onto your back. Take your time. Onto our backs. Make sure your head is on your mat. You may have to inch down a little bit. Let's bend the knees. Feet are flat. Knees are bent. And arms are down at our sides. Making sure you have space between your knees. Your knees are the distance apart of your hips. On your next breath, if you'd like to try bridge pose, press on your feet and see if you can lift your hips up away from the mat, from the ground. So if you're lifting your hips up in bridge pose, the shoulders are going to come down a little bit more snugly into the earth. Taking another breath. Good, and then slowly bring yourself down. We're going to try that again. Let your lower back touch. And then inhale, come back up again. Bridge pose. Very nice. Nice big breath in the body. One more. Exhale down. Beautiful. This is our last one. Hang on. Inhale, lift up. 3 breaths. Nice big inhale, still breathing in and out of the nose, letting those shoulders pin themselves down to the earth. Exhale and bring yourself down. Very nice. Let's take our left knee into the chest. Just pull that knee in as far as you can. Little stretch. And then we'll turn the leg to a pigeon shape. That is a figure 4 shape. Placing your ankle on your opposite thigh. Use your hand, the arm muscle to press that figure 4 thigh outwards. Breathing. Two more breaths here. If you want a little bit more sensation on the last breath, lift the heel of your supporting leg. Good. Now exhale. Let's bring that whole thing down. And we'll try the other side. Right knee to the chest. Give it a little tug. Don't be afraid to use your arms here. Good, and then turning the leg just as best that you can. Please don't force anything at all. See if the ankle will come onto the opposite thigh. Now we can take this right hand and press that bent leg thigh away from us as if you're trying to push the leg forward. Just notice what you're feeling. Add more sensation with your arm if you need to. If you're feeling a lot, you might not even need this arm pressure, right? 2 more breaths. Those that want a little bit more, lift your left heel, the heel of the supporting leg. Press out a little bit more. Good. Exhale down. Let's remove that leg. Now, can we bring the big toes just to touch each other so the legs are closer together? And we'll bring our arms out on the ground, palms up. Let's inhale right here and exhale, tipping your legs over to the left. See if you can bring them towards the earth. If they don't come down to the earth, that's okay. Just hover there for a moment. If they come all the way down, drop them all the way down. And stay here for 3 breaths. Twisting the body out here. So your chest is facing the sky, trying to keep the shoulders down. Good. On your next breath, when you inhale, tighten up that belly and bring the legs back to center. Center your lower back. Good. And then pause here. Inhale. Exhale and drop your legs to the right. Same thing. If they drop all the way down, drop them down. If they don't, hover them for 3 breaths. Letting the body twist out is very soothing to our internal organs. Very important that we have gratitude for everything that we don't see in our body that's working very hard for us. So twisting helps us to have gratitude for our organs, right? Our liver, our kidneys, stomach, and intestines. Slowly bring yourself back. Take your time. Once again, center your back. Now, to end the practice, let's bring the hands and arms around just to touch the side of your thighs. So you're going to use your hands for support here. Then see if you can open to bring the soles of your feet to touch. That might be a little challenging. So you're supporting with your hands here on either side of your thighs as you make this little butterfly shape. So basically you're on the side of your feet here. Let your hips relax if you can. Support with your hands if needed. And we'll stay here for 3 breaths. In and out of the nose. Cultivating some gratitude for our hip joints. Very important joint. Supports the body, helps us walk, takes us around the world. Good. Exhale. Now slowly, slowly bring these legs back together, and one by one, extend the legs out, maybe a little bit wider towards the edges, the corners of your mat there. Let the arms relax. Finding a surrender. This pose is Shavasana. We're surrendering to our practice. I invite you to close your eyes for a few breaths. And stay here, just relaxing. Nothing to do now. There's nowhere to go. Cultivating the gratitude for yourself, for this body. We're here without any judgment, right? We've done the best we could with our yoga today. We know we can come back to it tomorrow. So I invite all of you to stay here for at least 4 minutes. The body needs to assimilate the practice. So 4 minutes to stay here. You may want to consider turning your device off completely, just in silence. Maybe turn on some music if you haven't already. So I want to thank you for joining me today. I'm going to just bring my hands to my heart in honor of all of you practicing today on Thanksgiving with gratitude. Namaste to all of you.